In 2003, one company owned nearly 95% of the web, Microsoft with Internet Explorer. Then, a ragtag pile of volunteers, 50,000 of them, decided to murder it. They didn't have any money, they didn't have ads, they had a mission, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how they pulled it off. Now, this isn't a cuddly story about open source winning because it was morally superior. It's a story about three things working in lockstep. One, a clear enemy. Two, an inspiring mission. And three, a product that was genuinely, measurably, and infuriating for Microsoft, better. So by the end of this, you're gonna see why a common enemy is non-negotiable, why a mission alone gets you absolutely nowhere. And the one belief about your users you almost certainly have backwards. But first, let's go back to the year that the web nearly died. So back in the early 2000s, you'd open up Internet Explorer because there was really nothing else. It was bundled with Windows, it ate your computer for breakfast, and entire websites were built to only work in it. Microsoft had bolted ActiveX into the browser, was pushing proprietary extensions, and had essentially stopped innovating after crushing Netscape. The open web, the one that Tim Berners-Lee invented to belong to everybody, was being quietly turned into Microsoft's private shopping mall. And nobody really seemed to care. But then, in 2002, two engineers at Mozilla, Blake Ross and Dave Hyatt, well, they got fed up with all of this. The Mozilla suite was bloated, nobody normal was ever going to install it, so they did the thing that rebels always do. They started a side project. Stripped down, fast, built for humans, not for Microsoft. They called it Phoenix, then Firebird, then Firefox. And then November 9th, 2004, version 1.0 shipped. And a teenager with a side project just declared war on the most powerful software company on Earth. Now here's the bit where most people get this story spectacularly wrong. They think that Firefox won because it was open source. That really wasn't the reason. Open source by itself is just a folder of code that puts most people to sleep. What Mozilla did, and this is the bit you need to nick, is they named the enemy out loud. Microsoft is trying to own the web. They're closing it off. They're taking your internet and putting a logo on it. And we, the developers, the designers, the weirdos who care, we're going to stop them. They built a campaign called Spread Firefox, and within months, 50,000 volunteers had signed up to fight. But this is the bit that gets quietly skipped in every smug open source documentary about this. A mission does not win users. A mission wins builders. Your mum didn't install Firefox because she was outraged about W3C standards compliance. She downloaded it because it had tabs, because it blocked pop-ups, because it didn't fall over when you opened more than 3 windows. Because of extensions, it was faster, it was lighter, it was, in the most boring, unglamorous, deeply unsexy sense, just better. And this is where movements live or die. The builders showed up for the cause, the users showed up for the product. And a great movement, a truly great movement, is a rare one that aligns both at the same time, pointing at the same enemy for completely different reasons. This is also, by the way, the reason why we built Stateshift. Most companies trying to build a movement get stuck in exactly this gap. Brilliant mission, weak product loop, or a great product that nobody really feels anything about. So we help founders, DevRel teams, GTM teams, community leaders close that gap faster so your time to a movement isn't measured in years. All right, but back to the story. December 16th, 2004, Firefox is 6 weeks old, and the community decides, not the company, the community, to take out a 2-page ad in the New York Times. They crowdfund the entire thing. 10,000 donors, their names, every single one of them printed in tiny type across both pages. Just imagine the audacity of this. A free browser, run out of a foundation, putting 10,000 ordinary people's names in the most prestigious newspaper on the planet. Telling Microsoft to its face, we're here and we're coming for you. Within 12 months, Firefox hit 100 million downloads. 100 million from zero in a year, with no advertising budget, because the advertising budget was quite literally the users. But then Microsoft wakes up. After 5 years of doing absolutely nothing, they suddenly announce Internet Explorer.7. Tabs, pop-up blocking, a search bar, every single feature Firefox built, inspired from and integrated into this new browser and shoved down the throats of every Windows machine on Earth via automatic update. The volunteer army is staring down a sleeping giant that just woke up, so this should be the end, right? No, it wasn't. Because here's the thing that Microsoft never quite understood back then, and the insight that you really need to walk away with this in this video. People weren't using Firefox, they were joining it. By 2010, Internet Explorer's share had collapsed from 95% to under 50%. Firefox is sitting on 32%. You cannot copy your way out of a movement because a movement isn't a feature list. It's a belief about what the web is for, dressed up in working software. And this playbook keeps working. Blender is doing it to Autodesk Maya. Kubernetes did it to Docker Swarm. Common enemy, shared mission, genuinely superior product. Same 3 ingredients, completely different decades. It's not magic, it's the recipe. So the question isn't whether your industry has a sleeping giant, it almost certainly does. The question is, Have you named the enemy out loud, given builders a mission worth losing sleep over, and shipped something that users would actually choose on a Thursday? Because 50,000 volunteers proved it works. And if you want to see the playbook used to an even bigger scale by an even scrappier movement against an even angrier Microsoft, well, go watch that one next.